Our story begins not in a grand library or a university but in the quiet, sun-scorched wilderness of the Judean desert. Imagine it. The year is 1946 or perhaps 1947. The exact date is lost to the haze of memory. A young Bedouin shepherd, part of the Ta'amira tribe, was tending his flock of goat sheep. His name was Muhammad Ed-Dib Muhammad the Wolf. He guided his animals along the craggy cliffs above the northwestern shore of the Dead Sea. This was his everyday world, carved by time and wind. On this day, one animal went astray. Searching the limestone cliffs, he noticed a dark opening, a small cave. Curiosity pulled him in. He picked up a stone and with a casual toss, threw it into the cave. No expected thud, instead, a shattering sound. The crack of breaking pottery echoed from the depths. What could be hidden inside? Lined against the cave wall were several tall, cylindrical clay jars. Most were empty, shattered, but a few jars remained intact, lids sealed. Inside, a different kind of treasure waited for nearly 2,000 years. Inside the jars, wrapped in linen cloth, were bundles of leather scrolls, papyrus scrolls. The material was dark, brittle, covered in strange writing. The location of this discovery is as important as the scrolls themselves. The caves are situated near a place called Qumran, an ancient ruin on a dry plateau overlooking the Dead Sea. One of the lowest points on Earth, a stark, arid landscape. The extreme dryness of the region, the darkness of the caves. Together, they created a perfect microclimate. Over the next decade, a systematic search of the cliffs near Qumran began. 10 more caves were discovered containing scrolls or fragments. The caves were numbered 1 through 11. Others, like Cave 4, contained a massive trove, over 15,000 fragments. The scrolls are a collection of nearly 1,000 different texts. The Essene connection. So who wrote these scrolls? Who gathered this extensive library and hid it in these remote caves? The scrolls don't explicitly name their authors, but the scientific consensus points to the Essenes. The clues are in the texts and the archaeology at Qumran. Qumran ruins, communal living arrangement, ritual baths, common dining hall, scriptorium with inkwells. This matches historical descriptions. Pliny the Elder, Philo of Alexandria, Josephus. They describe a reclusive, ascetic people. They separated from temple-centered practices, calling the temple corrupt. They moved to the desert. They lived for study, prayer, ritual purity. Pliny mentions an Essene community on the western shore of the Dead Sea. The puzzle pieces, separated by 2 millennia, seem to fit together perfectly. When scholars began the monumental task of piecing together and translating the thousands of fragments, the contents were found to fall into 3 broad categories. The first, and perhaps most famous, are the biblical texts. The scrolls contain copies of every book of the Hebrew Bible, except the Book of Esther. These are our oldest surviving manuscripts of the biblical texts by a margin of 1,000 years. The second category is known as apocryphal or pseudepigraphical writings. These are texts that were not included in the final canonical Hebrew Bible, but were widely read and respected during the Second Temple period, Enoch, Jubilees, Tobit. Their presence at Qumran shows that the concept of a closed, universally accepted biblical canon was still fluid at this time. The third and most unique category consists of the sectarian texts. These are documents written by the Qumran community itself, and they give us an unprecedented look into their specific beliefs and practices. Community Rule War Scroll. Another fascinating document is the Temple Scroll, which reimagines the temple in Jerusalem and its laws according to the community's own purist ideals. One of the most remarkable finds is the Great Isaiah Scroll. Stretching nearly 24 feet long, it contains the complete text of the Book of Isaiah. When scholars compared it to the version of Isaiah used today, which is based on medieval manuscripts, they were stunned. Whenever a discovery is this profound, it naturally attracts a universe of speculation, conspiracy theories, myths. The Dead Sea Scrolls are no exception. One of the most persistent myths is that the scrolls contain some secret or suppressed information about Jesus. Some have claimed the Vatican and other authorities deliberately hid scrolls that would undermine Christian faith. This idea has fueled countless books and documentaries, but it is not supported by the evidence. The scrolls are Jewish texts written before and during the life of Jesus. They do not mention him or his followers by name. Another common misconception revolves around the so-called copper scroll. Unlike the other scrolls made of parchment, this one is engraved on a sheet of copper. Instead, it's a list, a tantalizing inventory of 64 locations where vast quantities of gold, silver, other treasures are supposedly buried. Many scholars believe the list is more likely a work of fiction. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls fundamentally reshaped our view of the past. It was like finding a lost photograph of a distant ancestor. Before 1947, our understanding of Second Temple Judaism was seen through later writings. The rabbis who shaped Judaism after the temple's destruction, the Christian authors of the New Testament. The scrolls provided a primary source, a voice from that exact time and place. They revealed that Judaism in this period was not a single monolithic religion, but a vibrant and diverse tapestry of different sects and competing ideas. The Essenes were just one thread in this complex fabric. For biblical studies, the impact was revolutionary. The scrolls gave scholars a text of the Hebrew Bible 1,000 years closer to the original autographs. The scrolls also built a bridge between Judaism and Christianity. They illuminate the Jewish context of the New Testament, helping us understand the world of John the Baptist, who, like the Essenes, was an ascetic figure in the desert, and Jesus. The scrolls are a shared heritage, offering profound insights into the common roots of two of the world's great religions. They remind us that there are still secrets buried beneath the sands, wonders waiting to be found, and that the quest for knowledge is a journey without end.